Most beginners think that sword fighting or training sword fighting starts from these flashy combos and solo drills that look awesome. But I hope you're not one of them. No, it starts with a clean, fast strike to the opponent's mask, to the face of your target, with control, sharpness and focus in your mind. I know, brother, that you want to train all of these cool looking solo drills, but hold on a minute. I'm going to actually tell you why this drill matters and why you should train it. This drill, this specific drill, teaches you accuracy, control, edge alignment, space, distance control between you and your opponent, and most of all, the intent behind of your strike, which should, with intention, hit your opponent, not his longsword. I don't know why, but most beginners always aim for the opponent's longsword, but you're not wounding an opponent's longsword. You should avoid it and hit him directly. That's the whole point of sword fighting. And of course, you should defend yourself at the same time. You may ask how to actually set up this drill. So in my previous videos, I told you to get a Gona longsword, which may be called in USA like a padded longsword or something like that. In Poland it's called Gona, and a basic fencing mask. So right now we'll use them both. How to set up your dummy? I would suggest you to use your fencing mask and place it on something with weight, like a chair with weight, so it doesn't wobble around when you stick it on. So as you can see, I found gym section outside. Just place it around here and voila. So extra tips if you don't have a mask. If you have a spare ball, football ball or something like that, you can place it on a stick, on a sturdy stick, and like imitate a mask or something like that. Yeah. So you got the setup ready. How to actually perform this drill? First of all, you have to get into your fencing stance. If you're right-handed, your right foot is the front foot, so it should be in front of you. The left one should turn to the left up to 90 degrees, and the distance between your legs should be around 1.5 feet. And most of all, keep a bit low, so bend your knees. Okay, so how to perform the drill, the actual strike? Measure the distance with your padded longsword or with a stick, and you have to make sure that you can strike with the tip portion of your blade. So you don't attack with the shorter reach, because you have just a longer weapon. You can strike with just more out of distance, being more safe. So measure your distance. You can tap lightly if your dummy, if your mask holds in one place. Get in a fencing stance, bend your knees, and get into posta breve, or the short guard. So the short guard is something like here. Your sword should be around like in front of you, of course, but not with the extended legs, and higher. So it's still a short guard, but your blade targets a bit higher. So you can deliver a strike with a cut, not with a thrust to your mask. We don't do thrusts right now, we only practice cuts. So it's a cut drill, a basic cut drill with intention. So you want to hit your opponent, not his longsword, as I told you. Right, how to start? You start from doing 3 taps, 1 longer and 2 quicker. 1, 2, 3, from this position, from the short guard, but a bit closer to you. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The most common mistake you can do right now is doing a wide motion like it's a battle axe. No, it's a short. As I told you, it's a precision weapon. It doesn't require of you huge strength to wield it. You just only need a leverage of your hilt. You use mostly, so you cut not with a wide motion, with huge motion, but only with the leverage of your hilt, and your hands do a leverage. to the leverage of your cut. So practice with me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you think you're too close or you're too far, measure the distance always. Try to hit with the tip of your longsword. Not here, not here. And don't try to lean forwards with your core or to the sides. And hey, if you want slow-mo breakdowns of this drill and my step-by-step corrections, how to properly train this, inside my school community From Gamer to Swordsman, it's a part of my Longsword Beginners course. Go check the links in the description right now. So 4 fundamental mistakes you have to avoid when doing this exercise. The first one is going too fast. You'll miss out on your proper technique. And second, which links to the first one, is skipping through repetitions. So not reloading, not recovering your sword back to yourself to do a proper strike. Third one is collapsing your posture when finishing a strike. So you're trying to lean forwards or to the sides, or you're falling out of your balance. You have to keep firmly on your bent knees and facing towards your opponent. A bit, of course, your torso is a bit turned to the side, but you have to see and look at your opponent with your heads. So the fourth and last mistake you should avoid is tapping your mask too lightly. Of course, you don't have to cut through with a full force through your mask, because it's not the drill about cutting through, it's about properly targeting your sword on the target. So you don't tap lightly, you have to add a bit of force to it. So you feel that you've hit the mask, not like touched it lightly. So moving on, how to progress this drill, so how to actually make it harder for you to train but still drill it properly. We're going to add the footwork, the lunge to our strike. So I've mentioned a lunge in my previous videos about footwork that wins sword fights, and I've mentioned how to do a proper sequence of the lunge. You have to remember, always remember, ingrain it in your mind that the lunge starts with your hands and then you follow up with legs. So how to actually implement this? Keep it straight, my brother. Measure the distance to your mask. But right now we're going to get one fencing step backwards and we'll be out of reach without leaning forwards, of course. If you keep your back straight, you can't reach your opponent. That's why the lunge is powerful, because you can close the distance very quickly and still strike your opponents and even defend yourself at the same time if you do it correctly. So start in your fencing position. Try to reach with your longsword. Add one backward fencing step, and when we get into the fencing step, our front foot always faces the opponent, no matter what. So once more, you measure the distance, you're out of distance here, and you lead the movement and you kick your front foot forward to land it firmly, and your rear foot, your rear leg extends to push you forward. Once more. This is the most advanced thing today you'll learn, but it's the most crucial one. You have to really focus on getting the technique right. So start the whole movement with the hands, then follow up with footwork. Once again, measure the distance, get into your posta breve, into your short guard, and start. I didn't tell you how to actually recover from the lunge. To recover from the lunge, you have to compress your rear leg and push from your forward front foot to the back to get into your fencing position, into your fencing stance, I'm sorry. Once again. So strike and you shift the weight backwards. Remember to not fold to the sides, so your core, your hips should support your structure when you're landing on your lunge. I know that this might feel very hard for you because you may be unathletic or you didn't work out like for a year or two, but please do it right. This is not about repetitions, this is about doing it in the proper sequence. Focus on targeting the muscles you need. So you strike, you kick your front foot, you land firmly, and then you recover once again. And you recover. That's basically all. Repeat up to 5 sets, 10 repetitions. This specific drill is part of my Longsword beginner's course, which is right now on pre-sale for $39. You can have a lifetime access to whole community with the beginner's longsword guide that have even more proper drills, solo drills even, so you can train it at home or in the park just only with minimum gear like the padded longsword and the mask. And remember, always take the initiative.